Hello, and welcome to An Idol Called Food. I am your host, JT Tapias, and in today's episode, I'm going to be telling you a story about discipline, that word that we all cringe when we hear, but I have never seen anyone succeed without it. And so we're going to jump into the dynamics, the differences, and how we can incorporate discipline, even if you're covered in Dorito dust. Before we get started, I want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by EYBPlanFuel.com, supplements that make a significant difference in your day-to-day, how you perform. Go to EYBPlanFuel.com, pick up your supplements today, and get your journey started. The word discipline creates lots of different sensations and emotions in people. I often hear people say, well, so-and-so is disciplined, but I'm not really that disciplined. I'm not a disciplined person. I've never been. I dislike the word discipline because it reminds me of when I was a kid. When I was a kid, my mom was constantly nagging me about doing my room, doing my homework, being organized, being disciplined, being self-controlled. And today as an adult, I have the hardest time with discipline because I believe that I have a childhood trauma. If this is you, my friend, you're not alone, because I can tell you that for over 2 decades of working with people in the area of fitness and nutrition, I hear this all the time. I need more discipline. I need more discipline. And when I ask people, what specifically is discipline? Most people can't really answer that question. They give me a set of sort of guidelines and rules, and they all sound horrible, to be honest with you. And when I break it down and I simply tell them specifically what discipline is, they are blown away. I can tell you that in many of my videos, I have talked about discipline before. Many of the episodes here on An Idol Called Food, I have talked to you about the importance of discipline and how to actually instill discipline in a very systematic way. And I believe that until I say what I'm about to say, most people are very skeptical. Most people think, well, you either have it or you don't. I actually believe I had discipline as a kid. I remember being 7 years old and having a poster of Bruce Lee on my wall and me wanting to be like Bruce Lee. And so I would skip out on Christmas treats. I would skip out on Halloween candy. I wanted to look like Bruce Lee. I wanted a six-pack. And so this was back when I was 7 years old. So you can probably say, JT, yeah, most likely you have the discipline gene. But I would say that there were a lot of different areas in my life that I wasn't disciplined. I wasn't a good student. I was constantly getting in trouble. I never did my homework. I have story after story after story of embarrassing moments that I went through simply because I could not discipline myself to study or even to get some homework or tasks done around school. So I think oftentimes when we think of the word discipline, we just think of this sort of umbrella, and we think that discipline is for everything, right? If you're disciplined here, you should be disciplined there. And there's that saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. I think that's true, but hear me out. I know if you're listening to this and you've struggled with discipline before, you can probably think of an area or two where you're very, very disciplined, and many other areas where just like, yeah, I dropped the ball there. And it has a lot to do with inspiration. I always say that if you're not inspired by something, it's going to be very hard to stick to it. So then the question is, how do we become disciplined in areas that are important? How do we become disciplined in our personal lives? How do we become disciplined to actually stick to a diet? How do we become disciplined to go to the gym every day? How do we become disciplined to get our work done so that we can scale our businesses or get that promotion that we're looking for at work? I personally work with people in the area of nutrition. So I will tell you that this is an area that most people will tell you, I'm disciplined at work, I'm disciplined with parenting, but when it comes to food, I'm just an absolute mess. I'm usually okay in the mornings, afternoons, but then the night comes around and everything breaks down. And there's a reason for that. Discipline is a muscle. And the later in the day, the more tapped your discipline muscle is. So this is why most people cheat on their diets by 7 p.m. After 7 p.m. is when I say things get a little scary. And it's simply because you've been an adult all day. You've been disciplining yourself to do certain things. And of course, when night comes around, you get all the triggers, the temptations, you're tired. And this is when most people reach for the bag of chips. This is when most people go to the fridge and grab the ice cream. And it gets them in a lot of trouble. A lot of people are in a lot of trouble, 50, 100, 150 pounds overweight based on this particular thing. So you're probably thinking at this point, JT, this is pretty pessimistic. You're telling me all the things I already know. Tell me how to instill discipline in a systematic way. So the first thing I want to say is that my buddy, James Clear, he doesn't know we're buddies, but he's my virtual buddy. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, has a saying that really breaks things down. And he says that we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. In other words, what the man is saying is that you can have the loftiest goals in the world, but if you don't have a system, you're going to fall flat on your face every single time. And this leads me to my second point here, which is I don't know if everyone grows up with discipline. Everyone is born with discipline. I think that people that you see from afar are people that actually have systems in place that allow them to show up as disciplined people. Now, when you talk about systems, it sounds very lofty, sort of complicated, but it's very simple. Let me give you a perfect idea. If you're trying to tackle a specific goal, let's say you want to lose 25, 30 pounds, and you want to do that in the next 90 days. The idea would be that you would take a piece of paper, you would write that goal at the top, right? And at the bottom, you would start to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tactics that you believe you need to do on a daily basis that will get you closer to your goal. So let's say, for example, you have the word discipline up top. Your tactics are, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. I'm going to, number 2, do cardio for 45 minutes. Number 3, I'm going to get ready. I'm going to eat a breakfast that's within the guidelines for the particular nutrition program that I'm doing. I'm going to set alarms. I'm going to bring my food with me. And you just start tackling 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tactics, right? Or as many as you need that you need to do consistently so that you can show up to that goal and land on a dime. In other words, 90 days and you're going to be at that 25, 30 pound mark. But of course, that sounds easy, but easier said than done. On top of that, we need to layer it with accountability. Nothing happens without accountability. So we have a goal, we have the systems, and we need accountability. So if you're looking to be disciplined in an area, you need to have a goal, but more importantly, you need to create systems. And number 3, you need accountability around that particular goal. Otherwise, it will not happen. So I want to reiterate here, and I want to be very, very clear, and I want to keep this very short because I want you to be able to digest this and actually apply it. Okay. So if your goal is to lose 25, 30 pounds in the next 90 days, right? Your number 1 goal is to lose weight. Now you need to create tactics. I would say that if you don't have a specific protocol, diet in place, the thing that you think you can do and not just lose weight with it, but also something that's going to be sustainable. If you don't have that yet, then I want you to check out the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. Go to emptyyourbucketnutritionplan.com and check out the programs we have on there, which are pretty amazing. Or you can simply go online, get all the guidelines for keto, and do keto. I don't think keto is sustainable, but I don't want you to think that I'm selling you on something. I'm just like I'm the only solution. Not at all. There's plenty of solutions out there. I know we have a great solution because our solution is sustainable, but pick something that works for you. So you go with keto, for example, you write down all your parameters. These are your tactics. So you're getting up at a certain time, you're doing your cardio, you're getting your nutrition in, you're doing your meal prep, you're bringing your water with you. You're creating specific set alarms throughout the day. So you're reminded of your food. You're reminded specifically how you're going to structure the day. And then you want to find someone, and I always say this, a third unbiased party that's going to hold you accountable to your commitments. Can I just say that paying for that accountability is more powerful than anything else you do? Okay. If you have your spouse do this, it's not going to be as powerful. You need to have skin in the game. I believe that when you pay attention. Find someone to keep you accountable. Put your money behind your commitment, and then you're going to see amazing results. And in the same systematic way, you can tackle every single one of the things that you're looking to get disciplined with. Guys, this was a simple but powerful episode, especially if you actually put it into action.